we do this now in really sports or even in America. Something happens and we just latch onto it as if it is that we're going to fix it immediately after years and years and years. The court storming with Duke in that game on Saturday. You see all of the editorials and the articles and all that. Is there anything they can truly do to stop it? Or what is the consequence other than fining the home team if their students storm the court?
Well, I mean, if Tennessee got what they got the last couple of years for their field stormings, then with Cal Filipowski getting hurt, Wake Forest is going to get the boom lowered on them because they were not really – Tennessee was ready for the field stormings. Wake Forest wasn't ready at all. I mean, there was nobody – did you see a guy in a jacket that had security on it trying to – slow anybody down? No. And there was no plan for it. So there needs to be a plan. I mean, look, there probably needs to be a re-education on when it's appropriate to storm the court. And for me, Wake Forest has beaten Duke like so many times. Like, it's maybe not that big of a deal, but, to each their own, to each school their own. I want everybody to have fun. But, man, be smart about it. Otherwise, again, this is going to be when you underreact to something, which Wake Forest clearly did. Underreactions cause overreactions. And overreactions are going to be to ban court storming altogether because there's going to be a push from coaches now to be like, okay, what if my Cal Filipowski gets hurt because of a court storming? Well, I want it banned so I just don't have to worry about it. If it's banned, I don't have to worry about it. And that's what they're going to want.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where if you're super active on Twitter, this is like right up your alley, and I'm not. And so I probably missed most of the discourse because when I checked in on a couple of occasions, this was mostly what I saw, and I didn't really dive too deep into it. But, what happened was rotten, and I think that it wasn't intentional, obviously, but we've had a couple of these instances now, right? You had the Caitlin Clark issue a few weeks back. Now, granted, she took a dive. She did. But still, it was a situation where that could have happened just naturally, and now you've got this situation this past weekend. There's absolutely ways you can corral it. I just think it's a bad look for Wake Forest to be sitting there with their thumbs, stuck up there, just sitting there oblivious to the fact that this was a possibility or just completely unprepared for it. So I've seen have like a timer that, there's like a 30 seconds for the school to get to their locker room. And I forget the exact arrangement of that idea. It seemed like it was a pretty solid one, though. Having security based around the benches to block them off. There's things like that you can do. But, I mean, outside of just yelling at everybody through the PA system and warning them that, anybody who runs on the court will be arrested and identified through camera or something along those lines. I mean, I don't think you want to start getting that serious about it. But beyond that, I mean, yeah, you're just going to have to set up a perimeter of some sorts and let fans know that it's not going to be tolerated. But it sucks that it's such a hot topic once again, and that you had to have kind of an ugly incident to make it that hot of a topic once again. So, you play with fire, you're going to get burned eventually. And college basketball got burned a little bit with a unfortunate situation that happened during a court storm. So here we are again talking about it. I'm not super passionate about the whole topic, right, but I do think there are things you can do without eliminating court storming entirely that can still keep players safe.
The problem is the coaches are going to want.
I think almost 99.9% of the kids that run onto the court are there to have fun. Also, they're probably going to play it on SportsCenter or wherever. But there may be one or two that are looking for something. I saw that. I don't think the Caitlin Gottlieb, I just went blank. Clark or this one was anything personal. I saw Filipowski said he thought it was personal. It's not great. I'm not going to sit there we have to ban this from happening. I think you have to be smart enough with those who you have at security and volunteers knowing something might happen.
Well, I think, too, and this is very much like I'm going to be old man here, but I'm not trying to be because it's not anti-youth in any way. And it's not just young people that do this because old people are as bad about it. Yeah. But when you're running on the court and you're not looking and you're just doing this because you're trying to get the TikTok picture, that's how people run into each other. Yeah. If everybody's just doing what they're doing naturally, but it's like the Caitlin Clark thing. Like, what was that person doing? They were trying to do their phone and not paying attention to what else around them. And so I think that's as much a part of the issue as people not paying attention. Like, you can be sitting next to someone, and this is not a big cultural rant or anything, but I mean, you can be sitting next to somebody and have to go, hey, look, away from your phone. So when you're court storming and you've got people pulling their phones out trying to get the Instagram video. I think that's where you're not paying attention and accidents can happen. But I don't know how you prevent that either, because you're not taking phones away.
No,
so I hate that it would have to swing all the way to just it's banned entirely. But, if people aren't going to pay attention and they're going to keep getting players hurt, then there's going to be repercussions for that.
I love the Jerome Tang thing is please don't do it because we expect to win.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to do that, and it's just really hard
Out
to
of
sell.
350 schools in
it's
basketball.
Really,
It's
really hard to do that. But I do think it is, and I said this on the Triple Option a couple hours ago, in that, look, it is way more like passive aggressive and like biting to the person you just upset to be like, no, we knew you clowns were going to lose.
Yeah.
No, it is. I agree. Act like
It
you've
almost
been there
takes the
before.
sting out of the loss in a little bit, because you're like, yep, you would celebrate beating us, kind of a thing. I do feel like that there are those instances where it's not, not that bad for the opposing team, but that's not the point of it either all the time. It's for you to be able to say you storm the court and have that experience and all of those types of things. So I totally get it. I just don't think people pay enough attention and too worried about, getting the video or the picture. And so that's kind of played into it. And just in general, when you got that many people running the court, phones or not, that's also going to, create a situation where sometimes some situations like this past weekend can occur. So I'm sure it'll remain a topic, and we'll see if they actually do something about it. But I certainly don't have the overall answer as to what should be done.
Yeah, it's a debate. Some people are going to go clamp down on it, and some are going to go, there's really not much you can do, but just be smarter. And that's acting as if most of the kids are going to do that, and they're not. All right, Randy Peterson, the